open for three. Dagger!
Hello, and welcome back to Well Beyond the Arc, bringing you all things NBA all the time. And like I've said before, we've got a lot to talk about, but today is no exception. We have some pretty big news that we are going to be talking about that just broke this morning before we started recording. So before we get into that, though, David, how's it going this week, bro?
I'm pretty good. It's a good week. It's Tuesday. I'm not mentally checked out. I'm ready to go. The NBA is rounding up. We're going to the biggest time of the year. Let's go.
It is I can't even say the beginning of the end because I think every team has like 5 or 4 games left, or 3 even. Some of them might have 3. So we're looking at, this is the time when every game matters, when that momentum matters, and we are almost in postseason. And I'm excited. It's going to be, I think this postseason is shaping up to be a really good one. So we will get into all of that. But before we talk about any of that, we are going to talk about our good, bad, and ugly as we always start our show, starting with good. My good for this week has to be that Lakers performance that we had against OKC. I was not expecting it. If you tuned in last show, you saw me say that I thought we got the Warriors and we were going to probably drop that game to OKC, maybe win it, but I wasn't super confident. I was less confident about that one. We lost the game to the Warriors. Honestly, it was a pretty poor team performance across the board in a lot of areas. Bounced back in a major way in a game that I did not expect. I thought we maybe had a chance against OKC. We could make it a good game, possibly come out with a win. That was one of our best games of the season because we've had games where we've had a really good first big half, but then the other team has started gaining control and in some cases has gained control in the second half. OKC, in my personal opinion, never had control of that game at all. Yes, they had little moments because they're such a good team that they're not going to have a full game where they're not making shots and not making the game a little closer. But the Lakers had control from the start to the finish, and that was one of the best complete victories I've seen. So that's got to be my good. Obviously, there's other good in the NBA. I don't want to seem like a homer. I think I've picked Lakers as my good maybe the last 3 times, last 3 shows. I could be wrong. Definitely the last 2. But it's hard not to because they are playing a level of basketball that it has to fit in my good category. So give me that Lakers win because that was a big victory, an away game. And OKC, first seed in the West, that's not going to change despite 1 loss and maybe 2. That's not going to change. But it's a good look for us to get that win over the first seed. So give me my good as that for this week. What about you, bro? What are you rocking with for this week's show for good?
I don't know that. I want to go with the Lakers win against OKC because personally I didn't watch that game because I was obviously preoccupied at the moment. But I'm so pissed that I did not watch it. But other than this performance and the one against the Rockets, maybe the one against Denver in Denver. I don't know if you remember that one. I think you were there for that one too.
That was a good one.
That was a good. I mean, okay, but I'm not going to be a homer now. I'm going to just stick with what I wanted to stick with, and that. I've praised the Warriors, and I'm not going to do that again because obviously, yeah, they are balling even though they lost. Whenever they lost, the team I do want to shout out is the team that held Steph Curry to just 3 points. He had more turnovers than points. That's the Houston Rockets. I think no team. Let's be frank. As much as they are young and experienced, I don't think any team wants to see that Houston Rockets holding Steph Curry to just 3 points. It's crazy. I was watching part of that game. Full court press. Steph Curry did nothing. Full court press. Because basically, once you hold Steph Curry, you've held the Warriors. That's basically what it is. Everything stems from Steph Curry. And Amen Thompson did a job on him that I'm like, is he not Amen? Is it or the one in Houston? I don't know. The one of the Thompson brothers did a job on him that I'm like, maybe DPOY, maybe. I don't know. But I have to shout out the Houston Rockets because they have been amazing. Because let's put all the losses aside, they have found their way to secure that second seed. At a point it was up for grabs, but they have made it their own. So shout out to him.
Yeah, no, that's a really good pick. I think I have really thought they were going to be one of those teams that has a slip like we've seen teams have close to the end of the season, but they've had the exact opposite of that. And we're going to talk about our predictions, which the East is pretty much set. We're not really going to have to go into that too much. But the West is really not set, especially from 3 back. And you could say 2 back, but at this point, I say you can't say 2. I think 2 is set. I think the Rockets have secured themselves that second seed. And
Yeah.
until this show, I really didn't. Until this show, I mean, the last few performances before the show, but until today, I really don't think I would have said that. So the Rockets do look nice. I saw I'm going to pull a comment back up from Pat's fan about them going deep in the postseason. I still don't think that is going to happen. I think there'll be a second round at best. And to me, that's not going deep in the postseason. So
Yeah.
that's where they're going to end up. But that's a really good place to be. And shout out to the Rockets for really turning around, because they were not even a team that we were thinking about at all in a positive light last season, especially like this as a second seed. So shout out to the Rockets. Moving on to bad. I've got to go with the Grizzlies. Their last 10 games, I believe they're 3-7. And I believe, I don't want to say this for sure because it might have been a couple of games they still had that head coach, but a lot of their losses have came since firing that head coach. And I'm not saying that like the head coach was keeping them together, because they really had a couple of major losses and disappointing games under him as of recent. But I think that there's a level of chemistry and a level of trust, unless your players have a really big issue with the head coach, which in this case, it doesn't appear like that was the case. Then I feel like there's a certain level of chemistry and trust that's taken away when you just completely take that person away at this point in the season. And we've seen it in their last 10 games. So my bad is the Grizzlies. They've slipped down to 8th, but again, we're looking at like, I think it was 4th or 5th through 8th is tied with the same record. I don't remember. I'm going to actually pull it up. So it's very insane. I mean, the standings are almost completely deadlocked in the West. It's
crazy. I like something
5th to 8th.
5th to 8th is the same record. It's just head to head, literally.
And literally, we have these teams have like 3 games left, and so
3 games. I think Lakers are the most with 4.
With 4 late, I think Celtics have like 3.
Every other team probably has like 3 because of
3.
Yeah.
So it's. I mean, we're looking at like 3 games that really matter for a lot of these teams, because placement in the playoffs really matters. And we'll talk about our final thoughts, because obviously before we do our next show, it'll be set. So we'll talk about our final thoughts. Again, though, the East is easier in my personal opinion. But yeah, my bad definitely is the Grizzlies. What are you thinking for bad this week?
I have to go with the top of the East. And I'm not saying this because I think is bad per se, but I feel like the Cavs and this is not disrespect to Celtics, but the Cavs have been way better. But the way the season is going, the Celtics can still finish top. So I look at it from that point of view, and I'm like, okay, does that say more about the Cavs, or does that say more about the Celtics? You know what I mean? Does that say more about, because everyone kind of doesn't have the Celtics as repeat champions, which is kind of weird. But then Cavs have been dominant, and then is this kind of like a slack off into the playoffs? You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I look at it as bad in terms of that should have been locked up. Like Cavs should have done everything to lock that up. But yeah, but no disrespect to Celtics. I think it's just weird, yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely I get what you're saying. I definitely think there's a good point there to be had. I think the East has definitely kind of as a whole, I mean, as you look farther down, that's a little closer, but it's kind of bottomed out competitive wise. And it'll be interesting to see how those playoffs go for the East. Someone's saying Cavs getting bounced round 1. That's what I was saying, depending on who they play. But again, it depends on who they play. There's a few teams that are, I mean, I don't even know. The play-in is set in the East. It's the Heat, the Bulls, who else is it? The Heat, Bulls, Hawks, and
Atlanta. No, you said the Hawks. Heat, Bulls, Hawks, and
I can just Magic.
I know it's not Magic, yeah.
I think
it's kind of weird because Magic, right? Magic is kind of weird because like we all expect, like the way they started the season, the way we were playing, and obviously I know that Polo went down.
Yeah, no, they were cooked. I thought, I don't know. Yeah, the Magic is interesting. I think the Magic I think the Cavs play the Hawks And so to bring up Sports Maniac's comment again, that's the one. I mean, that's how I think they get bounced. Is if they play. I guess if they play the Magic, maybe they could get bounced. But I see them. I don't know. Who knows? But either way, that is a good bad. Moving on to ugly, and the ugly is going to actually take us into our next topic.
I think we both
Ugly.
have the same ugly.
I think it might. I think it might be. That would be Malone.
Before
Malone.
we go into that, and now that you've said, what's going on? Like, are we missing something? Like, I mean, I know that we're just casual fans in the NBA, right? But like, what is going on in the background that we're not seeing or we're not paying attention to? That teams are just firing coaches left, right, and center. 3 days. It started with Mike Brown. Remember Mike Brown a few months back? No one really said anything, right? And you're like, but this dude just took the. I mean, we're telling you, started with the Lakers when they fired Rob Pelinka, but that's different. Let's we're not.
Yeah, that is a good.
But
point.
like, you see what I'm saying?
Down. Yeah, no,
What are we not seeing?
So yeah, that is a great segue into. Obviously, we're talking Michael Malone, the champion of, I believe, 2023, and just had a pretty good last couple of seasons since that championship. Obviously didn't really defend the title as like going to the finals, but made it to the postseason, made it decently far, and just looked like a team that was going to be here to stay. And even this postseason, last show we were talking about how we saw them. Were they going to win the championship? No. Were they going to go to the Western Conference Finals? Probably not. But I definitely saw them dominating round one. I saw them making round two a series, and I didn't see Michael Malone getting fired, especially before the playoffs. So
3 games before the playoffs.
At first, I was like, there has to be some scandal because I didn't see that was it the assistant or just the GM, assistant GM or the head GM, whoever it was.
It was the GM, yeah, the GM.
The GM got fired. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, the only way it would be a scandal is if both of them were involved and it was like an internal, like organizational, but I don't think that's what it is. You made a good point and said that you heard and that it seemed as if it was the cleaning house.
That's what it was termed as.
They lost. Yeah. They have been losing games. The one thing I will say is if you're the Nuggets, aside from all the weird coach firings, which all of them really have been on teams that have underperformed, if you want to call it that, for the season. But the Nuggets, what I think it is, because we'll just go into it, because I think it's both of our arguments, so we'll just go into that topic talking about it. I really think what it is I think the Nuggets feel like they underperformed this season, and I feel like they're wanting to restructure, but I think the main restructuring is on the team. That doesn't mean that you get rid of everybody, but I think the first place you look, if you're the 2023 champs that just won, isn't at the coach. I don't think that, unless you had an abysmal season or a scandal happened, to me, that's not where you look. You look at the team first. So for me, I feel like it truly is them just trying to clean house, them trying to kind of shape. I think the Lakers getting Luka really woke a lot of teams up. I think that was a pretty big shakeup in the NBA, as well as OKC's surge. I think we don't talk, and we've said this a million times on this show, that we haven't talked enough about OKC. I think we haven't talked enough about OKC's surge that has really woken other teams up, and I think the Nuggets maybe are one of those teams. Because have they been a top 5 team the whole season pretty consistently? Yes, but they've had very disappointing games. They've had some injury-ridden like parts of the season. Ever since All-Star break, they definitely, to me, have not looked like a team that would be called a contender, in my personal opinion. They have not looked like a consistent of team to be a contender. So looking at it from that light, I understand thinking that a change needs to be made, but I think whatever you do, you wait until postseason. I think you wait until you see how far they can go. What if the Nuggets go on a run and go to the Western Conference Finals under Michael Malone? Definitely not happening now. I'm going to tell you right now.
I don't think they're making it past the first round. I don't care who you have on your team. You are not changing coach mid 3 games to the playoffs and expect to win the first round.
And before we both thought they were going to, it was like them versus the Warriors, which I don't even think that'd be the matchup now, but we thought they'd beat them. That is not I'm with you, but like the Nuggets are, unless some miracle happens and they have a 7-game series and Murray and Jokes, unless something crazy happens, they're out round 1. I would be shocked if they make it, or give them the ceiling of round 2. Maybe they make it to round 2. But that is like my absolute ceiling for them. And before, I thought probably getting bounced in the second round, but maybe they have a chance to make a run because they're this team that has this chemistry. And I saw this on Instagram, these clips of Malone and Joker and Murray. And like the reason this team, and I've really not liked Malone as a Lakers fan, I'm not going to lie. I have absolutely hated Malone. Like I have not liked him. And it's because he's just they've kicked our ass for years under him as head coach.
Yeah.
Like since we won the championship in the bubble and beat them in the playoffs, in the bubble playoffs, they have kicked our ass until this season when we finally got a leg up on them. And it was literally just after this Luka trade. So for me, I've not liked the guy, but I do think he's a really good coach. And I think he deserves a lot more respect than getting fired with 3 or 4 games left in the season when you're the 4th seed in the West. That is just, it's insane to me. So to me, it's like the Nuggets screwed up. The Nuggets screwed up major. A lot of teams this season have made some head scratching moves, whether it be the Mavs trading Luka, or like you said, Mike Brown. That was like one of the first big head scratching things. And we didn't talk, no one was talking about that. Like the media barely, I saw it posted on social media. That was it. There was no one like talking about it like it should have been talked about. So, cause he just won that Coach of the Year award and just had been like a huge, like that team really gained that like notoriety under him as the coach and like gained that like, so yeah, it's something's going on. I think the Grizzlies one, I think that if there's anything that has like a scandal tied to it and something that has to go on within the organization, I think something like the Grizzlies one might be that. But again, that's another team that has not underperformed, but I think that there's a lot of teams that are looking to try to reshape because of that. I really do think that Luka trade kind of broke the NBA a little bit. And it's like, not that it made the Lakers so unfairly good. It did make us a far better team just because I feel like there's a level of, I don't know, something just clicked when that happened, but it doesn't make us like a team that like caught up to OKC in the standings or anything like that. So I think teams are looking at it though, like they need to make these major moves. But what are your thoughts, David? I mean, do you think there's anything that happened within the organization, or do you think it was just trying to clean house and make it to the next step again, that next level?
I don't like to intermingle sports, but the soccer team I support, I love dearly, Arsenal, their owners, the Kroenkes, if you are very familiar, own the Denver Nuggets, or their minority owner. My majority owners of the Denver Nuggets also, and they are known to be very rash. They are known to be also not rash. I don't know what the word opposite of rash is right at the top of my brain, but they are known to be either extremists. They're never in the middle. They are never less. Do this. They either we spend money or we don't spend money. They either we go all in or we don't go all in. They either we do this or we don't do that. You know what I mean? They're either mediocre or they're not mediocre. I've known them from how they run the soccer club. So this in one hand, it wasn't shocking to see that there's definitely something we're not seeing, and there's definitely something might come out in the next day or two or whatever, or probably might never come out again. But they definitely saw something and they're like, something's not right here. Is that and I to a degree I agree with you. I think there's something not right with the team, but I also think that there's a disconnect between the team and Malone. Not necessarily, their top player Jokic and Malone or more. I think the team as a whole is just. And I go back to the game against. I was watching the game against Indiana. I go back to that game not because Russ Westbrook is a bum or whatever, but I don't even know what I'm going back to. I just think when I think of the Nuggets season as a whole, that's the one play that summarizes it. Nugget has a fast, like 2-on-1 to layup, and then he misses the layup, and then he goes and fouls this guy on the other end. Like that's just kind of the summary of their season, really. So I mean, this is where it's kind of sad. I don't have Denver winning nothing, maybe second round least, first round least. And this is what it is. But it was quite when I saw it, and obviously Bleacher Reports, they'd be extra. I saw it and I'm like, okay. But then after I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, maybe knowing all the context and everything, yeah, it does make sense, but it doesn't make sense. If you get what I mean.
And I do, and I agree it doesn't. I think they've had a really rough season in terms of stability, I think they had a pretty rough season with having a stable lineup. I mean, and I feel like there is a good point you made about there being a disconnect, not with Joker and with Murray, but across the board and down the line completely. And we've seen that in teams before, and then they've found the right coach and then it has clicked. I Again, second round at best for the Nuggets now. I think that was always probably the case, but I think they had a small chance because of just having that team and that chemistry together that they maybe could have made a push if they had the right setup and the right matchups. But I think they're bounced first and maybe second. But could this be good for them going forward? I don't think the firing of Malone could, but I think if they do what they need to do with the positions and they kind of reshape their team a little bit and look at what they need to do on the depth chart and the offseason, that's where I think they need to look first, was not the coach. I think they needed to look at the players and look at some positions they needed to maybe improve a little bit in the offseason. So that's kind of where I would have started, but I think my hope is they still go there, especially if they get bounced round one. I really hope they go there. I really hope that's kind of where they go first, because if you get bounced that early when you have a player that's as notable as many of the players they have, that's a pretty big place you need to look when we're looking off season. So my hope is that they do exactly that, and they look at their roster. But again, I don't think they'll go very far. I hope that they hire a good coach, because the worst thing would also be as if they fired Malone, a championship winning coach, and then hire someone that is just completely the wrong fit. I don't see that happening, but you never know. So we'll obviously follow that situation. If there's more information on it and any of the coach firings, we'll obviously cover that. We're going to move on and talk a little Lakers basketball. Obviously, we talked about them winning. And that was big. That was huge. They've got another game. Not quite back-to-back. They got a day off, thank the Lord. Actual back-to-back game would be brutal. That is like, I can't even imagine that. You've seen some baseball teams have those, and some sports have like back-to-back type, but that is just so much, especially for pro basketball. So not quite a back-to-back, but pretty much a back-to-back. And Lakers take on OKC again today. Pretty big matchup. It's big for OKC because if you lose 2 games, even though it's not a playoff series, it's not the playoffs, losing 2 games, if you're in the playoffs, you only have 2 more and you're out of a series. So for me, this is a big game for OKC, because if you lose another one, I think it's a little bit of an overreaction to be like, oh my gosh, they're going to get bounced in round 1. That's no, I don't think that. But I think it's like if they go up against a team like the Lakers, which they could realistically in the playoffs, if they're dropping 2 games pretty much back to back, that's a bad sign. So for me, this is what I'm going to say. I don't think it's an implication that they're going to get bounced early if they lose to the Lakers today. I don't see it being like last game. I see OKC really coming out and having a really good first half. And honestly, I see them beating up on us, not beating up on us score-wise, but giving us a way different OKC team than we saw last game. I think they will have a lead up on us first half. I think they'll be ahead by a little bit. I honestly can see the Lakers coming in and winning and getting that 2-game series lead on them. But I don't think I'm not looking at last game and I'm like, they're definitely going to do it. That doesn't give me the confidence to sit here and be like, they're a shoe-in to win again. They're going to, no, that's not, I don't see that happening. I honestly think OKC is going to come out and really, really, really play their basketball that we didn't see last time. Because I don't think, like I said, in the good, bad, and ugly, we saw little moments, but we didn't see OKC play their basketball. So I think we'll see OKC play their level of basketball, and I think it'll show in them beating up on us a little bit first half. I think it'll be an exciting game that goes down to the wire. I think whoever wins by 2 to 6 points. I think it's going to be that close of a game today. Right now, I'm going with the Lakers. I got to rock with the Lakers. I got to go with the boys, because I think we have the health of our team is the best. There's a lot of good going on right now and consistency that's built up. So give me the Lakers winning, but it's going to be a close game. And I'm not like 100% setting that the Lakers win today, just because I think OKC comes out and definitely plays better basketball. What are your thoughts about today's game?
I'm not going to give you a reason why I feel this, but today is that type of I'm sensing. I feel I'm in my veins, my blood. Today is that type of day that the Lakers come out with the dub. Today just feels like that day that the Lakers come out with the dub. I feel like it's written. I feel like it's been set in stone. The Lakers just come out with the dub. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I'm just energized, but today just feels like a dub day for the Lakers to secure that playoff spot. You know, because the Lakers can clinch playoff spot today. So
Ooh.
I just feel that, and so I'm really excited for it. I can't tell you why, but I do agree with you. Yeah, I do feel like if Lakers will have to grind this one out. It won't be. I feel like LeBron will have a big night. The big three will have a big night. They'll give you like 80 plus point,
Maybe
80
100,
plus points. No, that's a stretch.
120 plus points. That's what you meant to say.
80 maybe. No, I do feel like it to be a close game. OKC, you know, I you know we don't really talk tactics on this show. We don't talk game plan, but one of the big things that the OKC did big time is they switched. They were switching, and they are switching their big men on Luca. And you know, if you watch basketball, once you go to a shooter, and you close out, it goes in like 95% of the time. I might be wrong. I might be judging the percentage, but if you watch closely, every time, once you go and it gives you aim straight up. You know what I mean? So that's what the OKC. I don't see OKC doing that again this time. I don't see them switching Chet or Hadis thing. We know what his name is. Isaiah, whatever his name is. I don't see him being switched to Luca. So
Their
well,
game plan will be way better, probably.
way better, definitely.
Yeah.
And we also hope that the role guys come up, because we know when those guys score more than 10 points, we are probably winning the game. You know what I mean? So to be definitely a different game, and I can't wait to watch it. 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm excited for it.
It should be a good one. I think, again, like you said, it should be, I mean, competitive. I like that feeling you have about the Lakers winning. If they really do win, that does give me a lot of confidence. And it's not even just for OKC and for the playoffs. It's any team for the playoffs, honestly. It's just, I think we've built up a consistency that we haven't seen since our bubble year. And I'm not even talking about the bubble championship. I'm talking about the actual season, because I think people overwrite that we had an amazing regular season in that 2020 year when we won the championship. Before COVID, before the bubble, people like to discredit the championship, discredit whatever. You can't really discredit a regular season where I think we got 56 wins or something like that. I mean, it was a really good season. And are we going to get that many wins? No, but it's going to be a season that definitely looks the most like that one. And I feel like this is the most, we're going to break 50, I feel like, for sure. And that has to be the most wins we've gotten since that season. I cannot think of another season since that one that we've gotten 50. I could be wrong on that.
I saw a stat where Lakers need to finish, because they have 4 games left. They need to finish 2-2, and their playoffs is done. Top whatever. Now, playoff being done doesn't mean the business is done. Clinching playoffs, we need to get home court advantage.
Yeah,
that's a big one. Get that home court advantage until the conference finals, or until you play the seed above you. You know what I mean? So it'll be big. So we'll see. Big game for sure.
Time will tell, but it's gonna be an exciting game, and I hope it's a close one. Since we're talking Lakers, we'll just talk about this quick. After this OKC matchup, we have a Lakers Mavs matchup, and AD is in, which I honestly thought the Mavs were going to sit him. I think I'm glad they did.
Too.
I'm glad they didn't, in a sense, as long as he stays healthy and plays. I think it's going to, for their organization, I think fans are going to be a little less mad if they see AD on the court, especially now. It definitely looks like they're going to, I mean, not 100%. I mean, yeah, they're 100% in, right? The Suns are out, correct? They've been eliminated. Or have they not been eliminated yet officially from the play-in?
Blazers?
The
Suns are, I think,
they're like 3 games back or something like that.
I think play 2.5. I think it's 2.5 games back behind the Mavs. So there is still a chance for the Mavs, and they might not shut AD down, especially if they have a chance to make it to the playoffs.
But the Suns aren't out officially yet. Correct?
No, they're not out. I think if they lose today, because they play
the Mavs, I think
the Warriors today. If they lose today, the Mavs, because all teams play today. So if the Mavs lose today, and so if the Mavs win today and the Warriors beat the Suns. I don't know exactly because I only care about
The
LA.
Suns might be out then,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Well, in that case, I'm going to say it right now. Obviously, nothing's set in stone. I think the Mavs are playing AD, though, because they want to get into the play and they want to have a little spark. They want to give the city something because of that, whatever. And I think that that's going to happen. Obviously, it's not set in stone, but it's looking like that. Lakers play Mavs on, I think it's, I don't know the day. But that's our next game. What I'm going to say right now is I think AD is going to go off and have a major game, but I still think the Lakers are going to win because who else on that Mavs team is going to be able to keep up with that Lakers team? I just don't see that. Mavs team is very damaged right
The
now.
NBA sauce, you know what I mean? Like they're just some.
True.
I can't remember the time we played Dallas that few weeks back, and they literally had no one,
Oh yeah,
and
never
everyone just
mind.
started going off. They just need one person with AD to go off. That's all. I fear
That is
that's
actually
all.
a good point.
That's all. But I mean, I don't think it will happen. But that's literally what they need to do.
Do you think
And,
AD has a big game, first game back against LA?
I mean, it's at home. It's in the Mavs' home. Maybe yeah. You know, he has something. I don't think he has anything to prove really. But just cause I think for the city of Mav for the Mavs city, obviously Luka will definitely have something to prove. So that'll be fun to watch. But for Mavs to tell the Mavs guys, I'm here. I'm here for y'all. Except they don't trade me, I'm here for y'all. You know what I mean? And to keep that playoff hope alive, whether you're in playing or you're not, or you're in the playoffs, your playoff hope is still alive.
I think it's almost bigger than if it was in LA because he's going to want to prove to the Mavs that that was not the right decision. Because even I think anybody would agree that that was even probably, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not going to sit here and try to guess what AD is thinking, but I'm going to go ahead and guess that he was surprised that the Mavs decided to do this just as much as we were, just because it's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense on any end. So for me, I don't think the fans will ever be they'll never be completely content unless they win a championship, which is not happening with AD, unless they somehow build a team around him, or the combination of him and Kyrie and maybe Clay next season does make a push. You never know. But for me, I think he'll go off. I think he'll have a big game, but I think Luka will also go off back in Dallas, and I think the Lakers will win by 15 or 20 points, honestly. Maybe 20 is a bit of a stretch. Maybe I should say 10 to 15, but I think it's going to be a big game. So time will tell. Next time we talk, though, Lakers will be done with their season. They'll be finishing their season up. So that's crazy.
I think every players will be starting also. That's the day the players are starting, the 15th.
Let's go. See, we'll have some stuff to talk about. Before we have a little bit of a shorter show today, but before we let you guys go, we're going to talk about, because this is our last show before the playoffs, or play-in and playoffs. Everything will be set when we do our next show. So obviously 7 through 10 in the East is set. The West isn't exactly set for the play-in, but it pretty much is at the same time. You know what I mean?
I mean, even the East too, things can change. You know, position matters, home courts matters, all that fun stuff. So things can change in terms of positioning. But yeah, playoffs, you play either players or playing sets.
Yeah, everything's set down there. So we're gonna look at 1 through 6. But honestly, I think the East is set. I think 1 through 6 in the East is set. I was looking down through it today. The only part where it really isn't set, in my opinion, is when you look at Bucks and Pistons. There's a little bit of closeness there, but I just still think that the Bucks are going to finish strong and finish the regular season strong. And so I think the East is set in my.
I mean, yeah. Sorry to call you. I think I don't know about Cleveland and Boston because what was this 4 games back? I think that's set. Don't worry about it. That's set. Knicks set. Indiana maybe set. Indiana set.
They've been playing good basketball.
Milwaukee and Detroit maybe my switch, maybe not.
Would that be the one you think might?
My switch maybe. I mean, they are 2 games behind, 2 games in the loss column behind Milwaukee.
But I think Milwaukee finishes strong. I don't know. Remember, I'm calling them. They're going all the way this year.
Oh, of course you did. And there's still a lot to play for in the play in terms of switching. Like the difference between all of them is just 1 game, both in the win and loss column. So it could definitely change. There's there's still time. But yeah, the East is. I agree. The East is set. The West. I'll allow you to get into that one.
Yeah, the West is definitely not set, I would say. Some of it's set. I would say the top two are set. I did not want to.
Yeah.
OKC's set. Rockets are set. I didn't want to believe it, but now it's true. I think the last time I said I thought they were going to get booted out was the last time we did this, which might have been 2 or 3 shows ago. So it wasn't that long ago. And I thought they were because there was a lot of season left, but they have played really good basketball. So OKC and Rockets are set. Give me Lakers at 3. Give me Lakers finishing at 3. I think they finish strong. I think they maintain where they're at. Give me Warriors at 4.
That's what I was about to say too.
I think the Warriors will push. Nuggets at 5. I'm not going to push them down too much. I think they stay at 5, and then Clippers at 6.
But do you think Minnesota can? I mean, they have won 5 in a row now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Minnesota. I don't know why we didn't think about shout out to Minnesota. 5 in a row. They have the longest streak in the NBA right now.
Yeah, no, they look, and what is it? I saw Anthony Edwards has like the most clutch points or something with clutch point. Like they've been playing really good basketball, and sneakily, like if you go in with that momentum, even if they are a play-in team, they could make a push. And watch them go up against. I mean, you again. I think whoever they play in round 1, they beat. I'm not gonna lie. I think whoever they play in round 1, they beat, and I think that could even be if it's OKC. Probably not. I'm not as sure that they could beat OKC, but if they're playing the Rockets round 1, yeah. I think that T-Wolves team might be a little sneaky and might. I don't think they make it past the second round this season, realistically, but I think they could make the first round exciting and the second round exciting this season, possibly. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they're on a little bit of a tear, but I still think they finish right outside and they finish 7th.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think it's be interesting. Like first 2 games will be interesting. I can't wait to see it. Yeah, I don't. The only shift I'll probably say in the West is I think 8 to 10 is probably locked in. I think if it would change, it would just change between 3 of them. No one is going higher than 7th. I think it would be fun to see. But I do agree with your standings in terms of especially the Warriors finishing 4th. I think that's definitely happening.
Man, that shout out to the Warriors.
I know.
They turned it around because they were looking like a team that was going to be a play-in team for sure. Like they were looking, and Jimmy Butler and just that entire team. It's not just Jimmy Butler, but I shout out to Jimmy Butler and his impact on teams because we've seen Jimmy Butler's been to several different NBA teams in his time. And honestly, every team he's been on has been successful while he's been there for the most part. Now, the Bulls had their times when they weren't as successful. I would say really post-Bulls is when he was really that leader for teams that made them better completely. But I think I've seen Jimmy Butler be a force in the NBA. So shout out to Jimmy Butler. Cannot wait to see him in the playoffs. Cannot wait to see the Warriors in the playoffs. Can't wait to see the Clippers in the playoffs. I think this is going to be one of the best playoffs we've seen in a while. Obviously, the Lakers are sitting the best they have been sitting for the last few seasons. I really thought they could maybe make a push to second. I'm honestly also kind of glad they're not, just because I don't know. I just would rather play a team that's kind of within the top 6 as opposed to playing a team in 7th or 8th, just because I don't really want to play the Kings. I think it's going to be I realistically think it's going to be Timberwolves 7th and Kings 8th. I think that's going to be the who make it in. But I just don't. Some of those teams are hungry enough to make those series either too exciting and too close, and then the teams are gassed for the next round, or they beat them. So I'm not wanting any of that. So give me one of the teams in the top 6, honestly. But I'm excited, bro. We'll obviously talk play-in, and actually next episode we'll be talking play-in, and then before you know it, we'll be talking playoffs. So super exciting stuff as always. Well, we love talking basketball with you guys. And this takes us to the end of another show. Again, we're doing a little bit of a shorter show this week. But David, before we hop off, where can our viewers find you other than this show?
Mind of the Football Fans Podcast. Thank you all so much for having me on here. You're amazing. But you can find me on Mind of the Football Fans Podcast. Solely about soccer. And I know I interchange soccer. I try not to interchange different sports, but I know I talk about soccer a bit in this episode. But context is necessary anyways. So yeah, Mind Football Fans podcast, new episode just actually dropped today. All things Premier League football as the run has begun. So check us out. We appreciate you all. So
definitely check them out. And then College Football Junkie is returning probably next week. Within the next 3 weeks, we're going to return and do a Saturday or a Friday show and talk a little spring ball and just some predictions and some stuff for the next season. So make sure to tune into that. But we will bring you guys some basketball next week, and we will be talking playing basketball next week.
Playing basketball. Yep.
Cannot wait to talk about that with you guys. See you guys next week. Have a great week.